Welcome to Taminator Tales or Tales from the Gold Mine by Kaci Tami. Welcome back, guys. Our stories for today is called The Peeping Tom. As the eldest child of my grandfather, Edward Cola, childhood with your vast network of extended families who lived in the barracks was fun. Days were blissful. If we weren't foraging or trying to incite sweets from the chosen one, my brother, who spent most of his days ensconced under the shop counter, playing with his cards and eating all the damned sweets he could master with a wine, to my grandfather, who did not see his burgeoning teeth caries as problematic, but rather was symbolic of how he was held in high esteem. I grew up with my first cousins. We were scrawny, light-brown, sun-kissed kids who spent weekends up the river swimming in rock pools or sunning ourselves like goannas until it got too cold. We would eat what we foraged or what our numerous uncles would bring us. One of my uncles was notorious for stealing chicken, and he only needed a cardboard box. The intended prey would be oblivious to the simple ruse. One squawk and it was gone. No further trail left like crumbs to lead to the culprit. We would be privy to chicken cooked up in a black kettle, which was multi-purpose. No one ever suspected that the tea that was boiling over the fire was hiding chicken soup. When the sun went down, we would reluctantly head home, teeth chattering, face streaked grubby from greasy fat and toasted cassava yams or breadfruit. My Uncle Billy loved to take pictures of his nieces and nephew like my dad. He developed his own pictures, and in my mind's eye there's a favorite one. It depicts my cousin Sally, her hair streaked by the afternoon sun, and me with curls. We are sans clothes except for our home-sewn cotton pandy, our teeth chattering but refusing to give in. We smile like contented Cheshire cats, upturned faces caught by the light, and my uncle posing in the distance, in arabesque, like Nuria the dancer, tense, lithe, and animalistic. That was the moment I'd become aware of body shape and the human torso, but we had more to learn about gender identity. The sun was beginning to set in the late afternoon. We dashed home, buoyed on the shoulders of my uncles, who hoisted us high till it felt like we could touch the sky. Well, at least it was useful when we walked past guava trees and passion fruit vines that twined itself around mango branches, and now and again we would squeal with delight as we spotted some late-season mangoes and would stop to break them off the trees and demolish them greedily before setting off again. 15 minutes later, we reached the barracks and the communal showers. All three of us dashed into the one bathroom, boisterous and frolicky, until I noticed something in the wall. That is, the chink in the wall. This aperture that was in the wall was to be the beginning of my Peeping Tom career, where I'd become obsessed with a woman bathing in the adjoining bath stall. It was easy to understand why the communal bathrooms were dilapidated in places. The wealthy owners of the dolphin gold mines never cared much for their owners, so these bathrooms and outhouses rarely was maintained, and over times the walls had weathered. The once pristine walls that had been hammered into the corrugated bathroom dividers were holding on for dear life. In some places there were holes left after the nail had corroded, and you could actually see into the next door. The unknown bather was clearly enthralled by her bathing ritual. The day was balmy, and the water was soothingly cold as it washed over our bodies. The woman next door was clearly bathing, as we could hear the water splashing off her. My cousin, brother, and I took turns to peer into a watery sanctuary. For some reason, we all fell quiet as we put our eye to the peephole. When it was my turn, I was mesmerized by her hair that hung down her back, but more so fixated by the burgeoning bush between her thighs. Silence dropped into the room as if we had become aware that the peculiarities of our actions were something bad, for we all became aware of our nakedness that was only hidden by our cotton bloomers that our grandma had sewn us. My cousin and I felt the need to put on our vests that we had balled up and left on the floor when we began showering. We looked guiltily at each other, but childish curiosity got the better of us. I think my cousin guffawed uncontrollably, and the bather next door heard us. She cursed us loudly as she hastily pushed out the bath stall doors, all the while berating us for being uncouth little monsters who should be flayed alive once she got our parents involved. She was a banshee with her hair flying back and forth while she wrestled her Sulu against her heaving breast to protect her indignity. The rest of the afternoon was spoiled by her demonic screeches as she accused us of being Peeping Toms or Tokalulus as she pulled us out of the stall, decrying our behavior, and marched us towards our grandparents' quarters. I think we got six of the best, and our grandmother made us pick our own switches to bring to her before she belted our hands and our butts. We grunted in pain and held back our tears, not wanting to see the woman witness our pain, but we feigned crying and wailing so that she could witness us receiving our punishment. Satisfied that justice had been served, she walked off in the direction of her own abode. Our grandmother, through gritted teeth, told us that she wouldn't be letting our parents know. It would have been disastrous because it would have meant being separated over the holidays, as our cousin Sally lived with the family in another part of the gold miners' barracks. Her parents had allowed her to come stay with us once we had arrived to stay with our grandparents over the Christmas holidays. Later, once we had finished dressing and being groomed by our grandma, we were told to have our tea. As we sat down on the kitchen floor around the tablecloth, soaking large pieces of freshly baked bread, courtesy of our grandfather's younger brother, into sweet tea, I smiled inwardly, for despite the welts that covered my arms and bottom, I knew I would do it again, and that between my cousin, my brother, and I, we would come up with ingenious ways of creating more peepholes, because curiosity cat needed to be satisfied, and that would be rectified soon. Thank you once again for listening to my story, and if you want to hear more of the same, don't forget to share, like, subscribe to Taminator Tales, Tales from the Gold Mines by Kaci Tami. Thank you. Until next time.